Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Buffet. Today, I'm alone, and I'll be discussing Monster Hunter Wilds, the most recent installment in the Monster Hunter franchise. Yeah, this has been a long time coming, been covering Monster Hunter Wilds, at least news, since it started its marketing campaign. We did not discuss its announcement back in the Game Awards, mainly because I wasn't there. I was not there for the Game Awards. Most of the time, I was there when Wilds was announced, but I skipped. But I did not watch it until I think like part way through or something like that. I didn't watch the actual uh game show show, and I did never went back and finished it, or at least never went back and watched I guess like the first half or something. I was like whatever whenever I first began watching it. So yeah, I don't remember that one all that well, but I have watched every single piece of marketing material this game has made. This game has like had for a long time, and also we've covered every single piece of marketing material. Well, not every single piece, but definitely the big parts at every event since it sort of started, and since it started its marketing material, its marketing campaign. So we've been covering for quite a bit, and I've been very excited for this game ever since it was announced. It was going to be the biggest Monster Hunter game of the entire franchise, and it was very hyped. It looked very big. It looked very ambitious. Tons of new monsters. The start of the sixth generation of Monster Hunter. It has bigger maps. It was just a bigger game and much bigger. And we were thinking it's gonna be much bigger than any of the games that we've had recently, like World or Rise, of more monsters, bigger maps, a bigger focus on the ecology, just more attention to detail, more of that. And in some ways, we did get that. Uh, in some ways, we did get that, but that is not the reality of it. So we'll get into my full opinions of the game now that I'm finally here after dodging the questions throughout the episodes ever since I would say ever since I did the episode on the spotlight, on the Capcom spotlight, that I've been dodging around actually reviewing this or like giving my full opinions on the game. Specifically for this moment here where I can officially review the game in its entirety after playing it for 170 hours, I would say, which is my least amount of time on a Monster Hunter game. I think right now, I think it's my least, like for at least a new one. It's my least played currently, and I gonna be real with y'all. I didn't touch this game until recently when some of my friends got it for the first time. I mean, yeah, when my friends got it and started playing it, I went back into it, and I think my opinions stayed the same, but it's a little bit more enjoyable with friends. So at least there's that. But I didn't touch the game for like a month until like last weekend or something like that, where I kind of went back, but I don't play it all that often. I got the Akuma stuff, and that's really about it. But yeah, like I've been saying, just to sort of give the like I guess like idea of what I'm gonna do here. I reviewed Rise and Sunbreak, and in those episodes, I did a tier list for all the monsters. I'm not gonna do that here. I'm not gonna do that here because the roster for the game isn't done yet. We just got. I mean, we not just. It's been almost 2 months. But we got title they won from Mitsune, and that was it. And like the event for Arch Tempered Radau that I didn't participate in. Yeah, but we got Mitsune, and then we have Title Big 2 coming out eventually, which will add Legiacris into the game. And that's exciting because I haven't seen Legiacris in a while. But Yeah, the roster for the game isn't done yet. Like it's not done. That's why I don't want to do a tier list until we have every monster in the game. And I'm definitely gonna come back here and then to fight all of them. And I do want to kind of go back in full capacity because I want to get every single armor set in the game, which is gonna be incomplete because there are some events I didn't do. There's a full like month of events I just did not participate in. I didn't do the like Festival of Accord thing. Never did any of that. So I don't have every single armor piece, but I'm gonna guess that at some point they're gonna come back. It only seems fair. So yeah, eventually I'm going to be able to get that, but right now it's not a for me. Playing this game to that extent is not a priority. It's something that I don't really want to do. So yeah, no. There's a lot that I can talk about in this game, and maybe this episode will be long enough without me doing a fucking 40-minute tier list, you know. Maybe, but there's a lot I gotta say about this game because for me, currently, this is my least favorite Monster Hunter game. Currently, this is my least favorite. So we'll get into why that is as we go along. Obviously, that's what a review is. But yeah, we'll go over it all. So let's just begin, I guess, with the thing that matters, that matters least in a game, or at least should not be, should have some of importance, but isn't the main thing. It's graphics. This game, if you're playing on anything that's on a PC, looks good. It looks good. However, there are things in this game that don't look very good. Graphically, it's fine. It's like it's fine. However, there are parts of the game that don't look good. I will concede on that. Mainly the sand side, or just like the what's it called again? Fallow season of the Windward Plains looks not good. I don't like it. The oil in the Owa Basin when it's plenty looks kind of weird. It doesn't. I don't know. Like it looks. I don't know, just kind of it looks so weird, too reflective. Not even reflective, it just looks like murky for no reason. I don't know why. I don't know if that does water or not. It just looks weird. It looks out of place. It looks like unrendered. It looks bad. Everything else looks fine. I think the lighting is fine. Like there's not much more to say. It looks like a better world. Obviously, it's running on better hardware. But I think a main thing I gotta say about the graphics and just anything else, just like I guess like how the game looks, is that you have to change a setting for it not to look washed out, and that is a crime because this game looks pretty good. Like with like some level of vibrancy on it, but you have to turn down the fucking brightness for that, or whatever it is that you have to turn down. You have to turn it down. Like I don't know why the game just didn't ship how it did in like the trailers, but it didn't look as washed out when people got their hands on it and like started playing the games. This game looked washed out as shit. You have to turn down the like I think it's something. I think it's brightness to just get like a good looking game. It looked it looked really washed out, and so that's like that. So I'm kind of basing off of me just playing it like that, and me during gameplay and doing this episode, forgetting that's not what the game looks like when you first boot it up. It looks so like bland if you don't like turn down the brightness, if you don't adjust the settings to make it look more vibrant. So like it did, I think, a terrible job of even trying to like give I don't know, like vibrancy. If that was the plan, I guess in the trailers, this game looked very vibrant, but come release, and it just doesn't look that way, and you have to change settings for it to look like as good as the trailers. And also, apparently, it runs like 40, 50 FPS, which is not what anything on the promotion material said. Like, at least like for spec wise, it says 60, so doesn't run particularly as well as it's, I guess, meant to run, or is advertised as running as. And also, just PC. I'm gonna keep going on PC. Because it was a terrible launch. I don't know how much things I can say here that really, have to do with PC wise. But I'll talk about it here because I'll talk about the PC launch here and graphics, just because like I might as well. The game does not look good on PC. It struggles a lot, and there's been a lot of there's been people reporting a lot of visual bugs of the game. For example, when the first open beta came out, almost everybody on PC was experiencing like the polygon monsters. I'm not sure that's a thing in current game. I'm pretty sure, knowing the state of the game right now, it probably is. But yeah, no, it was a terrible launch, and the thing is that all that stuff is persistent in the final release, and is like worse because of the actual size of the game. There are performance issues out the wazoo, and I know it. Like, even on PS5, the console the game was advertised with on every single fucking lane, like in every single event that this game went to, it was never shown to be on PC. It was always shown to be on PS5. That is it. So, and that is, like a testament to how I think they knew that the PC launch was not good. But then we have just how it even does on the consoles. People are having problems on Xbox, so it's not even optimized there to the fullest extent. And on PlayStation, it sometimes just drops frames. And I think on PC it's a lot more egregious because there's so many variable like specs. At least like on consoles, it's like one set of specs that you can kind of just I guess cater to, and it'll be a universal experience. On PC, it's obviously different, with many different components that make up the hardware. So it's a lot more variable there. So people are having more problems there. And God, this game is struggling to run on on PC, and people are not having fun. They're not. I don't know what people are smoking when they, at least on Twitter. I've seen a lot of positivity for the game on Twitter. I don't know if those are PC players playing the game, and I don't know how they don't have these problems. Apparently, some streamers didn't have these problems. I think Most Critical did not have any of these problems playing the game, but doesn't mean they don't exist. Hell, I didn't have any problems playing Scarlet and Violet, other than some usually minor glitches here and there. I didn't have any real problems playing Scarlet and Violet. But that's not me saying that the problems within that game are non-existent. Like, it is fundamentally broken, and I understand that, but I didn't have any problems with it. But those doesn't mean those problems doesn't exist. And in Monster Hunter, with it being in more like platforms, it's wild to see it just not perform well. So yeah, and I don't understand how it's like a lot of its player base are on PC. Just for me, doesn't really make sense with how much with how much publicity like the not publicity, but like how much attention has been brought to the fact that the PC version of the game is just not does not function as well as it should function. And I don't know what Capcom was thinking, making simultaneous releases, or not simultaneous releases, but definitely like releasing it in a state that it was. And even then, I don't even. I get it's not that it's not that they didn't have time. I don't know what they were doing because this game was developed for 5 years, so they had plenty of time to optimize the PC version, and they just didn't, because we have proof that the open beta is like a version from the game from like 2023 or 2022 or some shit like that, and it has a lot of content that is in the final release of the game. So we've at least it's known that the game has been in some working state since then. So they just did pretty much fuck all for most of its development afterwards. I don't know. It's just weird, really really weird. Then they never optimized it. They never. I know it was probably internally delayed. I would think that this game was going to be like a late 2024 release instead of it being an early 2025 to coincide with the 20th anniversary. But instead, that's not what we got. We got an early 2025 release, so it was probably delayed internally. Instead of it being just, I don't know, I always intended to be 2025. So I'm guessing it was delayed internally because of, the pandemic probably was a big part of it, and then there's probably some other stuff here and there. They're trying to make it a lot more ambitious. They're trying to be a lot more ambitious than any other game in the series. So that probably contributed to them delaying it internally, but never saying it officially. But I don't know if that was really necessary to. I don't know if delaying it to early 2025 was enough of a push. I don't think it was enough because it clearly didn't launch the way it should have, even though on console it ran fine. It just ran fine. So, yeah. Anyways, it was a horrible launch, and for in all sectors, it was a horrible launch. If people at least on PC, I heard crashes, visual bugs, and that's not even me mentioning. That's just graphics. Not even me mentioning the game itself. So yeah, on the graphical side, it did not look well. Grainy textures, rocks. It looked like fucking PS3 type rocks. It just it didn't look right, and it doesn't look right now. So yeah, let's move on to the gameplay, because I have some things to say. First up, this is, I believe, to be the most how do I say this? Not it's the most uninteresting game. Just the most uninteresting, unengaging Monster Hunter game in the entire series, and that's because of the difficulty. Difficulty of Monster Hunter Wilds has been a very big hot topic within discussion of this game, because there's always been discussion. It is post Monster Hunter World Monster Hunter. There's gonna be discussions about everything. We're still having discussions about World versus Rise, because of course we are. Because the fucking World because people who started with World and thought the series was gonna be like World, the entire fucking thing, just cannot handle something that isn't World, and it's much more akin to the OG games. I don't know why, but yeah, no, we're still having discussions. Now it's mostly, I guess, Wilds believers versus Wilds haters, I guess, should be the online war in the Monster Hunter space right now. This game is the most unengaging of them all, I think. And that's, again, because of difficulty. This game is piss easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This game is piss easy. Low rank and high rank are piss easy. I didn't have any troubles going into the until we get to Gormagala. And that's mainly just because the locale it's in is so closed in one space that it's like terrible to try to fight in. I don't think it's that good of a locale to fight something like Gormagala, and especially since its moveset really didn't change from Sunbreak to Wilds. It's very wide. Has a very wide attacks and all that, so it's not meant to be fought in closed spaces. They need to pick a better map for it than the fucking ice map that has 20 zones, but it's still it's set on evidence to fill a fucking banana, the melted banana. Like, come on, it's insane, but whatever. So yeah, no, it's fairly for me. It's fairly unengaging. I don't. It's just everything dies in like 4 minutes. When I was playing through the story, and I know that like fucking hell, the story. I know it's supposed to be low rank, and it's supposed to be like the hardest thing in the world. But I should at least have some challenge. World Story was not this easy. Rise, you can make the argument, but the thing is about this is that, like, WoW specifically, is that it gives you so many tools to work. It overtuned the hunter in a way. One of my big complaints about World is the fact that the monsters were changed to be a lot more fluid, a lot more dynamic. But the hunters weren't. So you were trying to keep up with the monster, and for me at least, base World, and some of Iceborne felt a little slow, and some of the fights felt really annoying because of the gameplay of World. But then we have Wilds, and I think Wilds overtuned the hunter to a large degree. They gave us wounding, which I think could have been an interesting mechanic. It's not here, really. I played the game like how using everything, so I did use wound a lot. Like, I did pop wounds, I did do all of that. And most monsters early game, and just like in any hunt I go in, they die in 4 minutes, like less than 10. And that is like unheard. For me, I'm not the best Monster Hunter player, but I don't think that monsters should go down in 5 minutes. Going into high rank, by the way, monsters still die in 5 minutes. There is no challenge here at all. I'm not saying we need fucking Dark Souls level of challenge, but I think we need a lot of these to fight back. And that's also a main problem. The monsters here do not fight back against you. Early game monsters, they don't have the best moveset, and nothing to really trip you up with when you get to like the higher ranks and fight their tempered versions. They don't have anything. They do not have anything to actually fight you with and like challenge you with. It's just nothing. You are very overpowered. So yeah, a big complaint of mine, and it just made everything too easy. I blasted the game. I got like, usually it would take me like in most games, it would take me a lot of hunts to actually be able to get the full set of a monster. In here, it took me 2 hunts to get the Lot of Arena set, and the Lot of Arena died in like 4 minutes. Again, I don't think a monster should go down in that amount of time. It's too little. And I think it just overpowered the hunter, and especially when you get to the higher ranks and you get to like Ardian level stuff, where you make you make your little like Ardian weapon, and it's like and you eventually just get through and you get to rarity 8, and you just obliterate anything in your path in like a minute or something, and it is insane. There is nothing in this game currently that actually warrants you using that, aside from just grinding things because you want it, because you want to do like easy stuff. There is like actually nothing in the game currently that actually makes you need that, and I don't think there will be for a good while, because Mitsusune. I'm not gonna mention most of the title dates unless I really want to. For examples, I'm not gonna talk about the title dates. They're not part of my review. I'm reviewing the game as it launched, so I'm not gonna say that. Oh, it'll get when I get to the monsters. I'm not gonna say, oh, it'll get better because of the title updates and whatever the fuck. It's still gonna be less than World, and I'm paying more for it. So fuck Capcom for that. And also fuck the fan base for saying that they didn't want 5th gen monsters in Wilds because they were featured in all the games. Brother, they were featured in 2 fucking games. It is not that bad. It is not that bad. You like getting Anjanath for 3rd game in a row, or like any other monster, like a Rise monster perhaps, like Gossara could have fit in this game pretty well. Getting that, I guess, for a 2nd time in a row, or like getting Tobi Karachi again, just because it fit, just because it fits, but like taking away that opportunity for those monsters to come back, especially with Capcom listening a lot to the fan base, which was exemplified by like the fact that they changed up the weapons and dedicated themselves to changing the weapons midway through the promotional campaign of the game. Like it's insane. So yeah, I truly think that Capcom does care a lot, but I think like I've been talking about this to some people on a Discord server. I think that Capcom should learn that maybe don't listen to your fans that hard. Like obviously they do have their own complaints and all that, but maybe don't be so responsive with what you want to do and what the fans want. Sometimes the fans don't know what they want, and when they get it, it makes for a worse product. Like again, 5th gen monsters. It's that technically like no 5th gen monster. That's technically like a curling of the monkey's paw, because they want like more of the monsters that haven't come back. They want a bigger roster, and they want I guess more monsters to come back from the older games. And they're saying, oh, don't put all these monsters in, but then monkey's paw curls, you get less. You get less of that because you don't want these monsters to come back. Hello. You get 2 shitty Guardian versions instead of monsters that were subspecies. You didn't even get the original species to roam around there. You get 2 shitty Guardians that are worse than their original versions in every single way. So, yeah. No, not fun. Not a really just the game is, for me at least, not very engaging. Not again because of the monsters, because you're so overpowered that you just kind of blaze through everything, and it makes it rather uninteresting. It's kind of boring to play because you're just going, okay, I need to hunt this thing. Oh, I need to get this. I'll fucking do these until I die. And some of the this is just me fucking Desire Sensor hating, I guess. But I was trying to get the Young Cuckoo set, and there was I think it's like the Cuckoo feathers that have like a 13% drop rate. And I'm like, that's not that bad. I've hunted 20 of those things, and they were that was the most annoying thing ever. That was the most annoying thing ever. And Cuckoo is pretty bad in this game. I don't like Cuckoo in this game, and I usually don't like that's like a very early monster. Usually in this game, it's high rank exclusive. I don't know why they did such a such a weird progression with the monsters here, because there's like absolutely nothing. There is nothing in this game that like really screams like I don't know, good progression. It's just so bizarre. It's such a bizarre game because there's absolutely nothing in this game that really I don't know, says you're improving or anything, because the game, because the monsters are so piss easy. It isn't low rank. There is no, like, I think for me at least, there wasn't any like gradual ascent into like harder things. It's just kind of like a roller coaster. Like, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So yeah, I don't know. It was weird for me, but there's that. Anyways, that's not even my fucking only complaint about the gameplay here. There are many other issues that stem from other things, such as the secrets. The secrets are much worse than the Palamutes, because any fucking time you try to control those things, it is like it's having an aneurysm. It's so horrendous. The controls are so horrendous. I don't like controlling the horses in Breath of the Wild. I'll say that much. It feels like that, but 10 times worse, because there is like no happy medium here. I recently found out that there's a thing you can do to actually change it so it does it, like, so you control, like, I guess, like how the player controls, like moving it around with the sticks. I didn't know that. Didn't know it was a thing, but I'm glad there is, because it made it a little bit more bearable. But I'm gonna admit I didn't know that, and since I didn't know that, I got used to playing the game just a sacred, like, going on its own. So now I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But like whenever I just leave it there and it just doesn't move. But the other thing I want to mention, my fucking god, the auto move. It's so broken. It's insanely broken. The goddamn bird takes like a turn, and it takes like a fucking like full business week to actually fucking do that. It's insane. It's so. It's so weird. It's so bad. It's so weird. I don't know how they did it. How they fucking managed that with the sacred. And that's not even the worst thing about the goddamn thing. The sacred itself can't move for shit anyways. When you try to control it, because if you don't go in the settings and try to control it, then and change it so you control it with the sticks, it's bad, because then you have to turn, and since it's moving, it's going forward at the same time. You're fighting against it. It's so unresponsive. It's so unresponsive. And when you go, let's go to auto movies, I want to get there, it takes like such a weird route. And it takes forever to get there, because it starts like spazzing out, and then I'll turn it into manual. Sometimes it doesn't even turn manual. Sometimes the thing is, you can turn off manual using the stick. Does not happen. It doesn't. So then you go but eventually you do get it, and then you turn it off, and then it's so, and then again, it's like controlling a fucking forklift. It's so slow and it's so unresponsive. So then you change it, but what it does is change how you control it, not even how like moves around or anything. It's God, the sacred is so bad, and the thing is, there are no other traversal things in the game. Like the only thing you can genuinely do is fast travel, which is a thing that's always kind of like it's a thing that was in World and in Rise. You could always fast travel, but in here, there's a lot more strategy to it, which I actually can appreciate. The fact that there's a lot more strategy to fast traveling around the locales. Not that not that it's like overshadowed by the fact that you can kind of just, I guess, go around the sacred. That's like the big appeal that the game wants to do. Even though it's like so unresponsive, so unruly, it doesn't even like you might as well just fast travel. So yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. Get me out of here with this fucking sacred garbage. But the sacred, there again, no other movement options. So you have to like, again aside from fast traveling, is this everything aside from that? It's just a sacred. So if you want to go around appreciating the world and all that, you can't. If you want to feel like, I don't know, you're going around there actually hunting, the sacred just makes it impossible because it feels like you're just not moving around as efficiently as possible, and the player is slow. So, yeah. The sacred just is a downgrade from the Palamute in every single aspect. It's so weird that this even managed to happen. Like the thing is that a lot of things in Wilds are like the things that I have a lot of problems with in Wilds. I think that 5th gen actually did well, like actually didn't butcher it or anything. It actually did well. Like the companions. I think like rideable or like mounts are here to stay with Monster Hunter. They are going to be our big. They're gonna be the big thing for the games moving forward because they're gonna expand the locales. They're gonna be a lot bigger. Probably with soon to be like probably next gen is gonna be the full open world that people thought Wilds was gonna be. So yeah, like and then we'd have to have a mount. But the thing is they got a good mount, at least like a serviceable one with the Palamute. In Rise, and then just kind of butchered all of it with the sacred in Wilds. I don't know how they have such like a fine, like an actual good template they could improve on, and then they just don't. They make it worse. That is like the motto for Wilds. We did it good before, now let's make it worse. Because fuck you, pay 70. I'll get to positive eventually, don't worry. I'll get to positives eventually. Just let me just marinate on this, because it's something that it's a big complaint of mine, because it is movement. Like, this game really wants you to appreciate its world, and the movement of it doesn't allow that to happen, which is sad, because I actually think some of the locales have interesting structures and are actually interesting to look at and all that. Like, yeah, there's cool ecology here, but it really shouldn't be the thing that is focused on, aside from just rather than gameplay and like this sort of thing, I think Sacreds need to, at least I hope next mount is a lot more like the Palamute than it is the Sacred, and also the hunters get some other movement option, because god having this be the movement option, I guess having the Segue be the one movement option, is not not good. I don't think it's that good. Now we see in the fucking expansion they add like the most fucking bullshit thing ever for movement because Capcom again just likes to listen to the community. Just loves doing that. Yeah. Fun little fact. I have not touched a single one of the points I have written down on my notes. I have been ranting about the gameplay of this game without even touching on the things that I wrote down. That's a testament to how much I don't really like this game all that much, except for the other Monster Hunter games, except for the other ones. Let's actually get into my notes. The weapons. I like the weapons actually. Hey, I told you to get the positives. I like the weapons. I like what they do with the weapons. There's some cool ones here and there. I think I've been playing with I played the game of Gunlance and Bow, and they are really fun to play with. You know, like sure, like you're just kind of obliterating monsters, but they're fun to play with, and I also like Sword and Shield. I played that a little bit before I got like actually good gun lances, which is the weapon I wanted to get with, and I wanted to like actually use. So yeah, I actually really like a lot of a lot of the weapons here. Uh, and the changes they did, I find them enjoyable, and I find myself a lot more open to using a lot of different weapons that I didn't really use in World or Rise. In World, I pretty much just used Sword and Shield and Longsword, and that's what I used in Rise as well. Recently, I started using the Charge Blade in Rise, just to kind of familiarize myself with it. Didn't really get the hang of it in Wilds. I think the Wilds version is not good. I don't like the Wilds version of the Charge Blade. Just really isn't for me. But I do like the other weapons that I've been playing. So yeah, no. I think the weapons are a really big positive, and they are, you know, just good to handle. They feel nice. I like how the gameplay itself is more akin to Rise than World. Again, like I said, one of the big complaints about World is that it's too slow. I like how here you are much faster. Obviously, that comes with its detriments, especially with monster speed and difficulty and all that. But I like how sort of swift you are in the game proper, and you know, I think I think it's cool. I think it's really cool that the weapons were touched up so much, especially after how the developers took it and decided to change some of the weapons to be more you know I guess you know to be more approachable. There's some of the weapons like in World and Rise I felt like I didn't really want to use because I didn't really get them. But in Wilds, I think they made the weapons a lot more approachable, and that's good. They gave a purpose to use. A lot of people were using bow guns, and I didn't really see that much in World or Rise. I mean, in Rise, people use like bow gun a lot because of the sticky ammo, and it's kind of obliterated monsters. That was like the meta weapon then. But yeah, yeah, I think the weapons were really touched up, and people actually use ranged weapons. And a lot of people like a lot of other people picked up a lot of weapons, like I like that. I like that the game entices you at least, or makes it more approachable to you using other weapons that you normally wouldn't use. Like I did not think I would ever use Gunlance in a Monster Hunter game, but I mean here I am using Gunlance and using bow and these weapons that I just kind of didn't think I would use. And I didn't know I would use until we saw that like those trailers. And this game really had some good early trailers. I gotta say. So it definitely sold the idea of a big Monster Hunter game, the best of the series currently, but that was not the case. Not for me. Not for me, but not for a lot of people. So yeah. But I can. I can definitely see how people like this game. It gets you to a lot of hunts quicker, so you're not grinding a lot. That's fine, but for me at least, I would have liked to see something more, something else aside from just this this non difficult game, just this piss easy game. It's not even like it's not that I want hard thing like it to be hard. I just want it to be not like it takes 5 seconds to beat a monster. There's like a there's a video out there that they beat like a Kurku in like less than 30 seconds or something like that. Like it's an insane time. But yeah, talk about monsters. Let's talk about the monsters actually. I have my problems. I have my problems with the monsters of Monster Hunter Wilds, and let's start with the negatives. Just to again roller coaster. Let's go down a little. The negatives. 29 monsters at launch is unacceptable, and also locking away two of them behind low rank and not being able to refight them. So instead, it's 27, at least on launch. That's a crime. That should not be a thing. Like I said earlier, it's probably because there are no 5th gen monsters pretty much. So it's more of a. So it's missing things, and just every other game that has come out ever before Wild has had more than 30. The last time that a game came out with less than 30 monsters in the roster was Monster Hunter Tri. It's World verged on that, and some people would argue that it did because some people don't count Sora as a I guess like a full monster. On launch, World skewed on that line, but by technicality, it has 30 monsters. No game has gone less than 30. And it looked like Wilds wasn't going to go in that direction. Sure, they were very conservative when it came to how many monsters they showed off, but that was because the game started its marketing like legitimately more than a year after it launched, a year and 2 months before it launched. So it didn't show off all that much. And when it came to, there was not much in the game. And what's worse is that we know that there were going to be more than 30 monsters in the game. There was going to be 31. And one of them was pushed back to Title Day 2, which is going to be Legiacrus. He was supposed to be on launch, but then he was just delayed. So, yeah. Why, I don't know. Fully, there's speculation as to why that happened. The other one, we do know which one it is as well, but it seems that one made it farther into development of the game before being cut as well. I mean, both went pretty late, but they were both cut from the final roster, so what the fuck, you know? Anyways, yeah, the monster roster being 29 monsters, technically 27 because you only go into high rank with those monsters, and then Soshia was like, oh, it's a big thing, you can fight it again here in Title Up Day 1. It's like, come on, man. Don't know. No. It's yeah, no, it's so bizarre, especially with what the series what the series kind of, not the series, but I guess what 5th gen with 5th gen being there, a lot of the monsters were brought into like an HD format, like higher, like better textures, more fluidity in its combat and all that. So they were brought into here. They were brought into that. So it would only make sense for Capcom to reuse those assets. Sure, reusing assets isn't like the best thing ever, but it's not like monsters don't make multiple appearances, especially in old gen where it was a lot easier to sort of port those over. However, that wasn't the case with Wilds for some reason. When they did port monsters, basically, Gore Magala is just higher res than it is in Sunbreak. That's it. That is entirely what it is. It's just a higher res Sunbreak Gore Magala. Not much more to say in that department. So yeah, but yeah, no, like I said, like I've been saying, 29 is just not enough for one, the start of the 6th generation of Monster Hunter, and also just for $70. This is less than World, which you can get on, I don't know if on Steam you can get it for 20, but if you're on PlayStation, you can get it for $20. So it's like you get more content, and and that's without title updates. You get 30. Of course, you get 36, but even then, Wilds' title updates first title update just one monster, one, not even two, one. So yeah, it's heavily disappointing, and a lot of people are coping with the smaller number because they say that the monsters are higher quality, and some of them are actually good. Some of them I think are some of the best fights in the series. Actually, I really like Raid Al. That is one of my favorite fights in Monster Hunter. And some others like a Jarkon are also really fun, and I like the tune-up that they gave Rathalos. Sure, it's not like Rathalos. That's not my favorite monster throughout the series, and especially old gen Rathalos is not the best thing ever, but I think Rathalos in WoW is one of the best fights in the entire game. I really do think of that. So yeah, like those are my top 3 currently, if I recall correctly from okay, there we go. From yeah, and Arkveld too. Arkveld, I think that the Arkveld we have here in this game is also like at least like normal Arkveld. That's also really cool, and I like it. But aside from those, there's some other really. I think there are some other good fights in the game, of course. Yeah, but another complaint I have of the roster itself is that it doesn't feel like a complete roster. We have Gore Magala, but no Shagaru. So Gore Magala doesn't serve its full purpose, and it doesn't really have a purpose within Wilds, aside from being a really tough monster, which could have been filled by any other monster, and also being the only other flagship that isn't Rathalos or Arkveld. Or Mitsune. So yeah. Then you have some monsters that I think really needed to be brought back and actually were improved in some areas. Kongalala, Gypsyros, Nursilla, Jankuku, Ravios. Oh yeah, Ravios. I was talking about the complete roster. There is no Basarios, and that it pisses me off a little bit more than Shagaru Magala not being included, because Shagaru Magala you can just include in a title update. I think that's title update material in some area, like, but if you stretch the definition of title update material, but Basarios is just completely dead. I don't know why they didn't add him. He could have been a really easy part. He could have easily made part of the Windward Plains. I don't understand why they didn't go in the direction. and Gravios just doesn't feel like Gravios. This is my first time fighting Gravios, and I just felt like he was just Basarios, and I know that's not the case. They have both coexisted within games before. We were also saying that they maybe didn't include Basarios because he was too similar to Gravios. Well, that's not the case, because they are meant to, one, be similar, they're the same species, and two, they're meant to show different stages of growth within that species. So yes, they may be similar, but they have their own. They are their own separate creatures, their own separate fights that you have to approach differently. I don't understand why not have Basarios here, especially since he was in Rise. We have a higher res model of Basarios right now, and they just did not use it. It is wild for me to think. And also, the Guardians, Fulgur Anjanath and Ebion Agaran, they are worse monsters than the original counterparts, and the original counterparts have really no reason to not be here. Because, like, Ebion Agaran and Fulgur Anjanath, you can make arguments that they shouldn't be here because they would be just repeating the same thing that we have here. However, I would say that I think they should be here because, you know, the Guardian versions are only in Viveria, so having like something similar out there you can roam around and that roams around and stuff it can work. This game, I think, also needs invaders, since Arkveld is the only real invader. So having normal Ebony, and normal Fulgur, they have their own purpose here. They also add more thunder. Normal Fulgur adds more thunder, and normal Ebony adds more dragon. Like they could fill their own niche and be like much more, I guess, easily obtainable late game thunder weapons, or like just elemental weapons in general. But they're just not here. And even then, Anjanath and Orgaren could have also filled, like normal versions could have filled interesting roles. With Anjanath being in the forest and the lower plains, sort of be adding more to that area, I guess, just adding more monsters there. And Orgaren, you could have seen some sort of regional variation where he's much more tuned to the oil basin, and he feeds off of more of that. And there's like bones in the oil basin out there. There's an entire tribe called the Bone Folk. So a lot of bones are there. It's part of the culture there within Azuz, like bone, again, like is there. So there's a lot of scavenger things, a lot of like things that scavenger could feed on. So I think Odogaron could have worked in the Oil Basin. So there's a lot of things missing here that I think are valid complaints. This game could have felt a lot better if they just added these things. Not only just, I guess, tuned up early game monsters for the late game, the high rank, instead just adding actual challenges and actual progression to the game. Because at least for me, it feels like you just kind of go in different directions and you don't really progress through the game. I don't know. That's what I feel about like high rank and low rank. It just kind of feels like you're not getting better at the game. You're not fighting anything more challenging. You're just going around just fighting against like the same things. They go down the same amount of time when you do the same moves. There's nothing there that's actually making you think what you need to do. And as much as I like the picks that they chose, and I actually like a lot of the original monsters. I don't like Nudra or the Shaguma all that much. I know there's a big hot take of mine that I don't like Nudra. I think Nudra is very AoE spammy, which I don't particularly enjoy, but none of these are as bad as Guardian, Fulgur, and Anjanath. This is my least favorite monster in the game, and that's because he is so annoying. He has the same problems that Generations Ultimate Lycaicrus has, and I hope the fuck that when we get Laggy in Tyler 2, I hope he is like his normal self and not like fucking Generous Ultimate Laggy. That guy sucks so much. He butchered that like you were saying in that game was butchered. So I hope here we don't see that. I really do, because it is. I really do hope that like it's better for at least for like because a grand return, because we have missed. He has been missed a lot by the fan base. So I hope we don't really. I don't hope we don't see one that is just a butchered version of him, because that'll be really sad. But I think a lot of monsters are actually good. There are a lot of hits in the game. There are not any shits. But when the shit, they shit hard. So yeah, they like what translation. When we get to the bad ones, they are noticeably bad. Like the Shaguma has a lot of wide attacks that don't really work, and are just really annoying to deal with. New just very AoE spammy. I don't like that Yankuku has 2 insta charges. I don't like that they brought back the insta charge. That's a very bullshit thing. Not what I like. No. Just not there. And again, I went to lengths about Fuger Engine how much I don't like it. Gravios, I've heard it's worse because he doesn't have some people don't like Gravios because he's very he's just a tank, but I think like that's part of the whole thing. He's a tank, but in here he just feels like Vasario. So I don't know. I don't like it a lot much. Rathian is Rathian, but I think some of the monsters were definitely improved. Gypsros went from D tier to B tier, so not the biggest change ever, but definitely was a change that for the best. Kongalala also went up for me. Blangongo went down. At least Ultimate Blangongo I thought was A tier. I thought was really good. But then for me at least, it was brought down to B. Spoilers for the tier lists, I guess. And also, Nursilla is a lot more enjoyable now. One of my big complaints about Monster Hunter 4 Nursilla is that the camera is very slow. So whenever she does her swing attack, you're kind of, it takes fucking 10 seconds for you to actually turn around to face her, and then she might do an attack. So you might be fucked. So yeah, I like Nursilla a lot more in this game because she's a lot more tolerable to deal with. I don't know where I put her in my 4 tier list. She is B tier. Alright. Also, I am gonna be doing I have 3 Ultimate and 4 Line Possession, and I will be doing reviews when I finish those. And also normal 4, not for you. I don't know if I'll do a For You centric episode. I might, but I'll just if I ever get it, I might not. I don't know. But yeah, where is it? There you go. Some of the things. It's another positive is that they actually made me like large monsters. A lot of Monster Hunter games, I don't like the large, big monsters. I love Kolftarov. I think that's a very I think everyone in World should fight Kolftarov with a team. I think it makes it a lot more enjoyable, and definitely how you're meant to fight Kolftarov. But for me, I don't like a lot of the big monsters, like Sharishvalda, Xenojiva is just CT. They're not bad. It's just that they're not, for me, the best thing, and there's not a lot of replayability there. Like Sharishvalda, Xenojiva, I do not like the serpents. Guys were going for me. I probably put it in. I put it in. If you watch the Sunbreak episode, I put Gatsby going B tier or something. I thought it was good. I did put Amatsu in S tier, which it deserves it. That's one of the only exceptions in those games. But yeah, I do not like big monsters. So this game made me like them. I like the final boss for once a lot. A tier for Soshia, and I also really like Jindahad, which is very good for me to say because I don't like a lot of the big monsters, and this game did make me appreciate them and all that. I think they're very enjoyable in this game, and it's mainly because you're not Like the one good thing about the fucking wounding is that a lot of these monsters are easier to deal with, and you're doing a lot more damage instead of just kind of standing there and just hoping they go down. There's a lot more interactivity with those fights. It makes it a lot more enjoyable. But yeah, I think there are some things I like about the monsters. I guess it's in a vacuum here, but overall, the actual roster itself is just fairly incomplete and rather disappointing. There are a lot of monsters that this game could have used, and it's always, I think it's a bad thing when I say that this monster would make the game better rather than rather than me saying this monster would have been cool to see in this game. Because like sure, like there's obviously gonna be monsters that people want to be in a game, but there's always that like feeling that the game's roster is good enough to suffice. Like it's sufficient enough. Like it doesn't need it would have been cool to see that, but it doesn't really need it. I think in here, in Wild, it's the first time I've really felt that a game has needed monsters. Because what we have now is not enough. Just not enough. And to be completely honest, to I guess newcomers, I know a lot of people who I'm playing with that are new to the franchise and have coming with Wilds, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend Wilds to be your first game, but sure, Wilds can be your first game if you really want it to be, and it's easier to get with because you have crossplay and all that stuff. Like it's easy. It's easier to get more accustomed to, and play with friends and all that. It's a lot more beginner friendly, I would say. And I think a lot of people won't really care about anything I've been saying. You know, like the monster roster, who cares? 29, it's 30 now with Mitsune, so it's there. But like nobody, like if you're a newcomer, you wouldn't really care about the number of monsters here, and you just care about the quality of them. And they are pretty well made, honestly. They are pretty well made monsters. It's just that, like for a Monster Hunter fan like myself and someone who has been playing this series for a good bit, it's very disappointing. And that's how I'm looking at the game. Like Monster Hunter fans will not like it as much. And I think that newcomers definitely will like it a lot. So yeah, let's just move on to my final point for the gameplay. The locales. I think that having an open world is generally the final thing that Monster Hunter had to kind of go with, or had to evolve to. Like this is its final stage, really. Eventually, we get an open world Monster Hunter game. This is really not it. This is semi-open world. I like the locales. I don't mind that we are expanding the locales. It's just that they need to expand them in a lot more ways than just making them bigger. We need, I think, more interconnectivity between the locales because it's mostly just linear. I don't think that should have been the case. I think we should have gotten a lot more paths to go through and maybe get to other locales in some other areas, but it being very linear, I don't particularly like. That's a complaint for mine. And also, you don't really, because it's so linear, you don't really use like the seamless transition between maps all that much. So yeah, it's rather disappointing in that area. Just kind of not having that be a part, like not having that. That's like a big thing that they advertise, like the seamless transition between locales, and it's just not a thing in this game that you really use. However, when you do, it's really cool. I love Lost Paths of Iberia. I absolutely love it, and God, I gotta say, when you go to free cam and you go and you like. And you see and you go like the Ice Shard Cliffs in free cam. You can't do that in the game, obviously. But when you like go, when you go in free cam and you look like from top, like you, how do you say this? You look down at the Ishar Cliffs and down at Wyveria, it looks so fucking cool. It looks like a gigantic city. I love like the surface of Wyveria. It looks so fucking cool. I'm so sad that it's not that we don't have like verticality like Rise. That would have been so cool to traverse through. It really, really would have been. But I think again that and actually I like a lot what the locales tried to do, where all like at least maybe all of these like all like at least like some environmental storytelling. Like we have the Asher Cliffs, which are mostly man-made structures, and it's also really weird with like the anti-gravity and stuff. Like there's man-made structures here, so it's telling you that people lived here. This is the city of Wyveria. This is part of the city. This is the wall around it that prevents people from getting there. Obviously, you'd have the problem of like how the fuck do you actually get there, but still, like like the Asher Cliffs and Wyveria itself, I think look really cool. However, the other locales I think are just the main problem with the other locales is that they don't have this. They don't have a lot of this, and there's sometimes there's not even seamless transition between locales, like from the basin to the cliffs. You go through a loading screen, and that's because like if you look at the map, there is a gigantic gap between the two. So yeah, you couldn't really that'd be like an empty space of fucking nothing to go through, you know. So I kind of understand. But aside from that, the thing is, the locales also just feel really empty. For some reason, there's apparently a mechanic where you can overhunt. Now, that's fine. Like I guess like some like I guess storytelling like thing, but that's not fun for gameplay. Sometimes locales have like 2 monsters on them, and that shouldn't be the case, you know? That really shouldn't be the case. Especially with what this game tries to do a lot, where you go out and you find the monster. Something that I did a lot during the beta. I spent 50 hours playing the beta. And I went around and just kind of fought monsters. And that was really fun. I don't know why people are saying that people don't really use the like overworld stuff and just go into the hunt, into the like just quests. I find it a lot more fun to just go around and see what's on the map and go fight that, you know? That's just a lot more fun. For me, at least. So, yeah, So I guess seeing just the maps being very empty and just kind of not having a lot to do with. There's not a lot of, I guess, cool things to find. I think some things that I find cool in open world games is the environmental storytelling and like seeing what and like seeing the evolution, how nature works, the ecosystem of the locale, you know, or of the region, and how different it is from others, and how the people live here, you know. Something that we kind of see here in Monster Hunter, but they didn't really work on the environmental storytelling a lot. At least they try to, but it's never really stated what it is. Like there's like in the when we're playing in the plains, there's like lightning rods, and we don't know what they are, but they were built there apparently because they look man-made, but we don't learn anything of that. So, and that my main problem is like, sure, Monster Hunter's always had this, but the thing is in the story they place such a large emphasis on the ancient civilization, the Wyveria. The Wyveria people. Wyverians are a completely different thing. On the people of Wyveria, I'm just gonna call the keepers. The keepers. They put a large emphasis on the keepers. So yeah, I don't know. So that's like a large complaint of mine. The locales just feel really empty, and like the overhunting mechanic is something that we really didn't need. It just makes it harder to actually enjoy the game because yeah, it makes it so eventually you just fight nothing in a locale, which the game actively disencourages discourages is what discourages it. It tells you to not hunt things in the open world and just go to quests. I don't know why when hunting in the open world is something that the game like prides itself with and like as advertised itself with, and that it's just not a thing that's in the game. Like it's something that's not really encouraged. Really, that. So yeah, I don't. It's so weird, but I don't know. Like I said, and I think a lot. I think that's probably the thing that some newcomers would find like eventually, like just like seeing like everything's so empty. But like I said, the gameplay here is not bad for I guess for newcomers really, but it is below average at least for veterans of the series. If you'd consider world people, you know, or like fifth gen people, veterans of the series. But at least like long time fans, I think will find it much more. Uh, will find it a lot more disappointing than like newcomers or people who started a world who probably didn't like Rise all that much and used it and like more this type of Monster Hunter game, which I'm fine, I guess. I don't really care. So yeah, no, that is all I gotta say about the gameplay, and I talked about it for quite a bit. Let's talk about the story. Okay, so before we begin, the story in this game was something that the developers really themselves on. They could not shut the fuck up about the story. It was something that was really focused on in the marketing material. It's a story. We have a bigger story, a better story. We have a focus on the story. And God, the game, the something I gotta say, the best way to describe the story is that it thinks it's better than it is. It insists upon itself. It thinks it's better than it is because it tries to deliver this message of like people thriving in nature and the dangers of nature's power and how nature finds a way and whatever the fuck they try to pretty much tell the same message that Jurassic Park tried to tell. However, it does it in the worst way possible. It doesn't set up anything. That is the big thing. It doesn't set up anything. When we get to the actual part of, oh, this, this thing, you know, like the big thing with the Guardians, the man-made monsters. It's like this comes out of fucking nowhere. And I'll talk about it later, really. But yeah, no, like the game itself is not set up well. The plot. When we get to Soshia, it's like, where the fuck do you come from? They just kind of find that shit and say, we gotta kill it. We found this thing, we gotta kill it. Like the game story is poorly set up. That's mainly because it takes so long to actually get going. Like a lot of the story throughout like the first few hours is just kind of going through the locales and seeing the different cultures, and that's really cool. I really like that, and how the characters interact with that, how they see that, and how Arkfeld is harming the environment, and we see all that. That's like a mystery throughout the entire thing. Like Arkveld's involvement in within the game's plot. Big mystery. Uh, the thing is that it's like the game takes itself pretty slow until you get to the Ashar Cliffs. When you get there, it's like, what the fuck? Like, why is this going so fast? We immediately, like, after we get to the Ashra Cliffs, we immediately go back to the base and we fight Nuudra, and then we just stay. I think we also then immediately go to Viveria. It's like, what the fuck is going on? We spent 2 hunts in the Ashra Cliffs, found out nothing about it, and we're just, we're gonna go to Viveria now. It's like, what the hell? Like, take a breather, man. Like take a breather. And then everything just goes so quickly. Like the Guardians, Arkveld, like the Keepers and their involvement and the Asian civilization. That's all in like the final third of the game, of the story at least. And it's so bizarre why this was like this. If the game took itself less like, if the game wasn't as slow as it was in the beginning, or at least like wasn't as fast as it was, like, just change the pace to match one of the fucking sides. Either take your story slow and develop the characters as we see them grow, or blaze through it because you don't care about the fucking message. Pick a side. The story doesn't pick a side. But I do like where the story was going. I like how the character, at least Nata, it was all about, it's not the story, basically. Where you see him escape from not escape, but like get away from the Keepers and find out about the world and all that, and the cultures and all that. Like, I like that about Nata. And the other characters are fine too. They also find out about all the other stuff, and they're enjoyable to see. Like Alma's archaeology makes sense to be included because she finds out about all these cultures and how they work and all that. Like that gives us some I guess scientific insight. That's cool. And I think the characters could have really worked well. It's just that the game goes in such a fast pace that we don't see the real effect these different cultures have on these characters, and not as storyline and not as entire character arc suffers through this, because his entire character arc is supposed to be that he hates Arkveld, but then he sees that Arkveld just wants to be free, and then he becomes sorry for it. However, it's something that is not explained at all, and it's because Arkveld shows up twice in the story before we actually fight him. Twice before we learn about his not true intention, but definitely why he escaped. It's because he went mad for some reason and just started eating things. But we don't see that. We really don't see why he started, like, why Arkveld started to, like, consume the energy of other beings. It's never explained. So it doesn't work because we don't know why Arkveld is in that position. And the game tries to make a parallel with Nata and Arkveld, which doesn't work because Arkveld itself is underdeveloped. We don't see the eating thing until the finale. If we just saw Arkveld eating before then, and then Tashin tells them it's not supposed to do that, and then they say, but we fucking saw it do that. If they just say that, the story could have been, it would have fit the story, because then it'd be like, because it wasn't, the Guardians can't eat, and then immediately afterwards, the Guardians are Arkveld is eating. So yeah, if they just worked on the story a lot more, it could have been a really good story. And maybe not an Arkveld parallel could have worked. The thing is, also another thing about the parallel, it's just that it's not a parallel. It's not a parallel. Nata never wanted to be free. He didn't like the Hunters Guild. He was very closed off. and then he opened up as he discovered the cultures and the people and all that. Arcveld is not like that at all. He just wants to be free, and that's it, because he was held captive for so long. So what the fuck? Like genuinely, the parallel doesn't work because there's just no parallel there. The story in and of itself doesn't work as a story, and it could have worked beautifully. It really could have worked. That's the worst thing. The pieces are there to make a really good story, but it didn't happen. It did not happen, which sucks. Really sucks. It could have been. I don't really care that they copied the message of Jurassic Park. Fine. I think it would be an interesting message to explore with Monster Hunter, since Monster Hunter's entire message is like what it's about is the relationship between nature and humanity, and how humanity influences nature and how nature influences humanity. That's all it is, and the effects of both on each other. See, that's cool, and Jesus, voice crack, and that's cool, and seeing an ancient civilization like taking advantage of it, and then that power, that power making them fall and leading to their fall. That could have been really cool to have explored, but it's something that wasn't explored because, again, things the Guardians are not explored at all. So Shia again isn't mentioned until the finale of the game. So at least like the other things, they weren't really set up well, but they're definitely like their effects are felt throughout the story, like Xeno'jiva, Charles Valda, the Serpents, Geismagorn. They're at least much more set up than Soshia ever was. Soshia has like literally zero bearing on the plot. I don't know how that happens. You fight Soshia because it has to happen, because the game has to have a fucking final boss. That's it. That's why you fight Soshia. So yeah, the story is just wasted potential because it had a lot of potential, and I think it started off fine. I think the story started off fine. It's just when you get to the finale, like the final chapter, it just starts to wrap up so rapidly. It starts to wrap up really quickly, then that the message of the game is lost in that, and what the game tried to build up to is lost in that because it just does it so quickly. So yeah, that's really all to say about the story, and let's go on to the final thing, the future. I don't have a lot of hope for the future of the game. I know it already sold like 10 million copies already, like fucking hell. The title updates aren't for me. They're not the biggest thing. The first title update was lackluster, to say the least. It was really lackluster. So Vitality 2 has some promise. They're adding layered weapons. They're adding Legiacris and some other monsters. They did specify they're adding more than just Legiacris. So I'm excited to see what they really add there. But I don't know what they could add. The game is just gonna have less monsters than World. I think we just gotta accept that. So we are not getting a lot of monsters. Within the game, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really excited for the title updates in general. I'm still gonna play them because I have to do a tier list. I have to do the tier list eventually for this game. I don't know when that'll be. Depends on how long it takes between title updates. If it's 2 months, then maybe around like December, something like that. Hope maybe, I don't know. So yeah. and the expansion. That's not going to come until a year from now, but some of the couple I've seen from, I guess, people who have complaints about the game that say that the expansion could fix it all, and I don't think we should rely on that. I don't think we should rely on the expansion to fix the game. You know, I think the game should come, quote unquote, fixed when it launches. I think the game should be as good as possible, and the game right now just isn't as good as possible. We shouldn't rely on a $40, maybe even $50 expansion to complete the game. Hell, the expansion may not even come complete. It may come rather incomplete and not satisfying. So yeah, like that just might be that might be it. I don't think we should rely on like an expansion. I think what we should do is push Capcom to make a better game, a better product on launch. Not have so many problems with the PC version. Maybe actually do a good story instead of saying that you're gonna do a good story. Improve the monster roster to be, one, of higher quality, and two, more complete and have more monsters. Since they have the resources to add more monsters. They have many monsters from 5th gen that could be added that they just didn't because people said that they didn't want to see monsters from 5th gen. So then the roster suffers because a lot of those 5th gen monsters could have really fit. So, you know, I just hope that I don't know if I'm going to buy the expansion on launch. If the marketing material does interest me a lot, then I'll definitely do it. And hey, it's more content for the podcast when it eventually launches. But yeah, I just if the expansion does make it better, then I will give full. I'll concede on my points. But right now, how the game is, it's just not the Monster Hunter game we needed. We needed something better than this. We needed something bigger than this. This is the first Monster Hunter game on current gen hardware, on this new gen hardware. And it just did not deliver. And I don't think it's worth the $70. But I do have things I like about it that actually make it a tolerable game. It's not completely bad. It's just that there's a lot of things that are very disappointing. You can easily if you're a fan of Monster Hunter, you're not really paying attention to the story all that much. But the gameplay, you can definitely like about it. I don't like it all that much, but you definitely can. If you like just having a lot more fast-paced things and not having to grind a lot, that is valid. And the monsters are actually really handled pretty well. And aside from Mizutsune, but I'm just reviewing it on the basis of what the game launched with. I think the monsters are handled pretty well, and there are a lot of really good monsters. There are more good monsters than there are bad monsters, and that's something that World can't really say. Yes, there are higher quality monsters in the game. It's just that they're not more higher quality than like World or Rise monsters. They are not worth more. That's what I'm trying to say. They are not worth more than those monsters. They're definitely better. They're just not worth the $70 price tag just to have less monsters in general. So, yeah. I guess in a game like this, you can only really hope that it gets better as it goes on. Maybe it will. Maybe my opinion will change. But this is based on the launch of the game. And currently, yes, I have my complaints, but there are some pretty heavy pros here, which is why I'm going to put it in C tier. I know I ripped about it a lot, and I know it seemed like I was going to put it in fucking F tier or D tier or something like that, but I'm going to put it in C tier. There are very big things in this game that you can like about it. Maybe my cons may be someone else's pros. Who knows? And a lot of my pros, you could definitely see. A lot of my cons, you can definitely see as being changed as the game goes on. Maybe it'll become better. I don't know. Hopefully not at a $40 to $50 price tag, but who knows? There's things to like. There are big things you can like about this game. The weapons are handled well, are tuned up, and are a lot more approachable. The monsters are better. not locales, but the locales, for example, again, Lost Paths of Viveria, which is just the connection between the Usher Cliffs and Viveria is really cool. I really like that. So there are some really cool looking locales in here. It's just that the story really falters and the roster is not satisfactory. It's just not satisfactory. Yeah, that's why I'm getting, yeah, C tier. So that's about it. What do you guys think about Monster Hunter Wilds? Leave in the comments below. All our socials are in the description. If you're on Spotify, you can follow us to see update of our content, and give us your feedback by rating the podcast. And if you're on YouTube, you can subscribe to the same thing and like it, like or dislike to give us your feedback. And you can share around if it's share it around if you think it's worth sharing. And that's about it. See ya.